Grüß Gott and welcome to my stash fasting diary. My name is Nevena and I still have an awful amount of yarn. A little disclaimer before we start. I'm not sponsored. I bought all of the yarns that I show and talk about in this video myself. October is over and it was quite a painful month. Unfortunately, I have chronic tendinitis and it becomes painful when I overload my right arm with heavy lifting, among other things. At the beginning of the month, I had to carry my cacti in the basement for the winter. I have many small pots, but I also have 3 large pots with about 10 liters of soil, plus a cactus on top of it. And yes, it didn't go very well. I also found out intense crocheting doesn't help here either. So yeah, I had to take a step back and slow down a bit. Unfortunately, I didn't make a single stitch on my log cabin blanket and I also didn't touch the knitting mill, but I did make some potholders. I made this one first in October. It is a quite simple pattern. You alternate single crochet and double crochet, and in the next row you place a single crochet on top of a double crochet from the previous row and a double crochet on a single crochet from the previous row, and that's all the magic with this pattern. I found it in one of my mom's pattern books from the 80s, and I really like this pattern because it gives a nice structure to the whole thing. Unfortunately, I ran out of yarn in the middle of the making of this potholder, and I put some brown on top of it, and to balance it out a little bit, I made a brown picot border around the whole thing. Yeah, not bad for the first try. Then I made these two. It is quite simple. These are 2 row repeats and then changing color. I used up some mystery yarn that came with my scrap yarn purchase from eBay. Well, the orange one was really a mystery yarn because it didn't have any labels on it, but the red one and the yellow one had a label on it, but it's still a mystery for me because I never heard of this brand. I don't know this brand, so yeah, it's a mystery. But they turned out nice. And that's all that matters. Next, I wanted to try a round shape, and I made this one. By working in the back loop only, I tried to add some structure to it. It is nice, but it is also boring and quite thin, at least I think. So I decided to add a second layer by working single crochets in the front loops, and it turned out like this. And this, and yeah, now it's much thicker. But it is still flexible, and I really like it. I will definitely make a third one. This is still a work in progress, and I'm just not sure which color to use yet, so we'll see. So these were number 4, 5, 6. And the last 2 that I made in October were these 2 bad guys. Yeah, I saw on the internet this pattern is called German potholder. Why? Is it because in Germany everyone had to make these in elementary school, or why? Okay, the pattern is a no-brainer, which is good. And I honestly like to make them with self-striping yarn, so I don't have to weave in the ends if I make color changes. And I also try to leave or to have clean edges, so I don't need to make a border around it, and just whip it and that's it. And yeah, these are my finished objects. This not, but all the other ones are finished. You must have noticed that my potholders are quite large. And this is because I like to use a whole ball of yarn per piece, all the 50 grams. And sometimes there is a long piece of yarn that remains at the end, and it is too short to finish a row, but it is also too long to be thrown away. So this is still a work in progress. I started to make a scrap yarn potholder. Yeah. And yeah, that's it that I've made in October. I still have 25 balls of cotton yarn left. So yay, more potholders. Anyway, that's it for October. I'm looking forward to November, and I'm curious where my yarn adventure will take me next. Maybe to more potholders? Who knows? So thank you all for watching, and until next time, ade!